What makes marriages last?
A lasting marriage is something almost everybody wants. I've never met anybody who got married to get divorced. So, assuming that's the goal that everybody wants, let me share with you what research has suggested to us recently. We know that marital satisfaction levels begin to drop off when children enter into the marriage, and they have a tendency to continue to decline until adolescents leave home, hopefully for good. Late adolescents, okay, or maybe even young adults. Okay, but the point is, it drops off. Then we see a really surprising tendency among marriages. Some marriages improve immediately to the same level of satisfaction that they had before they started having children, and some marriages decline into sterility, dullness, and deadness, and often into divorce. And that's when the kids go off to college, mom and dad get divorced. You've seen the story, you've heard the news and everything else. Well, the issue is what keeps or what makes the difference between those marriages that return to high-level satisfaction quickly and those that can't recover after the children leave home. It's very simple. And we need to understand what infidelity or adultery is all about if you're going to understand how to preserve your marriage. So I'm going to take a little parenthetical side trip here. Adultery consists of three things. Childhood magic, meaning you enter into a bubble with that girlfriend or boyfriend. You're oblivious to the whole world. You just are self-indulgent. You're totally caught up in each other's lives. You're both narcissistic. You don't give a rip about anybody or anything. If you've ever been on an airplane and seen a couple involved in an affair, you know exactly what I mean. Okay? That childhood magic concept. The second one is adolescent sexuality. Adolescent sexuality is noisy, chaotic, unplanned, spontaneous, and again, doesn't give a rip too much about the community or anybody else going on. You see that everywhere, okay? Adolescent sexuality. Third thing is what we call adult mobility. Now, if you had a girlfriend and you had an hour and a half lunch, and it took you a half hour to drive to your girlfriend's place of work, and a half hour to drive back, and you could only see her for a half hour, you would go. Promise. Okay. But what happens in most marriages, we never get into our own little worlds of magic after we start having children. We never take time away and just be self-indulgent with each other. Go to bed when you want to go to bed. Get up when you want to get up. Eat what you want to eat. Drink what you want to drink. Totally self-indulgent. You need that in a marriage. You need to plan times like that. Secondly, and most couples don't plan times for what we call adolescent sexual experiences. When was the last time you went and parked and made out? Now, I can tell you something from research. Good number, too. 92% of all the men and women who reported on one national survey about where they had sexual relations in the midst of their affair, they reported having sex in the car. Now, when was the last time you ever did anything like that as a married person? The tendency is for us to keep sex or take sex strictly into the bedroom. Late at night, we're both exhausted, between the sheets, behind locked doors, in the dark, after the kids are asleep, and it becomes dull and sterile, and there's no fun or flirtation in it at all. There's no sexual tension in it. There's no teasing in it. Third thing, we don't see our spouses in unusual times of the day or in unusual places of the day. And we often think, well, if we had a chance to go have coffee with them, well, I'll see him tonight. I don't need to do that. You do need to do that. You do need to make it your goal to see your spouse in unusual settings, unplanned settings, spontaneous settings, just as though you were running and sneaking off to see a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So those three factors really do aid and help long-term marriages recover after children leave the home.